you guys are in for a real treat today because we're starting today's video off with some kitchen floor story time in front of our still very broken Samsung oven. The storyline on this is that a few weeks ago, the top part of this is a dual zone oven, the top part of this stopped working entirely, and we've had some residual issues up top with the burners showing that they're on or they're hot when they're really not. So I thought I would call someone to get all of these things resolved in one shot. Unfortunately, there's not many people that repair appliances in our area, and the ones that do, they don't work on Samsung, which left me in a predicament. So I went online and I found out that Sears Home Services still does do repairs on Samsungs because they used to sell them, at least I think so. I'm not even sure if Sears is in business in like the traditional department store sense anymore. But I scheduled it so someone would come out and take a look at this for me. And the day came, the guy came in, he looked at the top of this, couldn't figure out what's going on electronically, but inside here, his assessment was that there is an issue with the heating element that's at the top of this, you know, like the coil thing that goes around there, which makes sense why it's not heating. He ended up looking it up on his phone, and he said through Sears it would cost me a little over $400 to do the repair through them. They usually work with warranties. This wasn't warranted because I didn't buy this. I don't have any information on where it was purchased from. It was here when we moved in. He told me though, if I wanted to avoid the $400, we could do a cash deal with him where he would do it for $250. All I have to do is write him a check or give him cash up front of $200, and then he would come back with the part and fix it. And I know, and I knew at the time that this seems super sketchy and I shouldn't do it, but the guy gave me his full name, his phone number, and that he lives here locally in the same town. So I felt comfortable doing this, at least somewhat comfortable enough to write a check, and I did that. He told me he'd be back the following Friday. That was Thursday, and he was supposed to be back the following Friday. That next Tuesday comes, and I'm feeling sketchy about this all weekend, but Tuesday comes and he calls me and confirms he's going to be here on Friday. Okay, we're good. Friday comes though, I don't hear from the guy. I call him right around lunchtime, and I'm like, hey man, just checking on you, seeing when you're going to be here. Left a message. No response to that throughout Friday, so I called him again Friday night, left him another message, just being like, hey, what happened to you? I'm starting to get a little worried here. I didn't say that on the message, but that's how I was feeling. Saturday, still no response. I call him again, don't leave a message, just let it ring. Sunday night, still no response from the guy. And I know you guys are like, yeah, Greg, you got scammed. Well, I sent him a message Sunday night. I'll just read this off to you. I said, hey, Nathan, that's his name. I should dox the heck out of him, but I'm not going to do that because I'm a decent person. He said, I tried calling you a few times the last few days and haven't heard back from you. Hopefully you're okay, but I'm definitely feeling not great about this arrangement with the oven. I'm going to contact Sears Monday if I don't hear from you. So that was like Sunday night. And then that got a response out of him because obviously he doesn't want me to call Sears. He says, hi, this is Nate. I did receive your element. It's in my house. Unfortunately, we had a death in the family. My grandmother passed away Friday, and we're currently at her house in New York. Her services are Wednesday. We're getting everything with the house in order. I'll be back in town Thursday. Sorry, I forgot to contact you. Just really busy. And a part of me wants to believe that this is actually a good guy with just bad communication. Maybe it actually did go down that way where Friday, the same day he's supposed to be here, his grandmother died. But for me, it's like I called the guy 3 separate times, left 2 messages. There was at least one moment in time where he could have taken a second just to text me and say, hey man, I have your, that message he sent me, if he sent that on Friday before I went through all of this stuff, or on Saturday or Sunday at any point during the day, I would have felt so much better about it. Okay, great. But at the time I was a little fired up, so I said, I'm sorry to hear that, but it only takes a minute to call or text, which is what I just said to you. I'm sure you understand this from my end of it. Guy comes in, undercuts his employer, takes a check for $200 to prepay for a part, cashes the check that day. That's the other part. I looked into when he cashed my check. He literally left here, went to my bank, and got cash for it. That isn't what somebody would typically do if they were going to use that money to buy a part. I know people don't have tons of excess money sitting around, and I understood why he needed the money in advance. But if you were going online to buy a part, wouldn't that money be better served if you just put it directly into your account like you actually did a deposit? But he cashed it, probably in fear that I would do a stop on it. I'd come to my sentence and then put a stop payment on the check and then he wouldn't get the money. But I go on to say, takes a check for $200, pay for a part, cashes the check that day, doesn't show up or call when he was supposed to be here, ghosts me for days after that. He didn't reply to that message at all. So the next day, again, no responses. Next day I said, we decided to go another route with the oven, which, spoiler alert, that route is just to get a new one. I started doing some searching, and Mrs. Brickitect, or Cody as she's known on this channel, it's hard to keep straight. She found one that was like on super sale with Lowe's and is really nice. It's actually a Frigidaire, which is a last brand that we had, which is, I guess a funny oven name to have, Frigidaire. But we had one at our original house that we brought to our last house, and it was fantastic. And it was like, if we were to go and get this repaired, like if I had another person come out and all this stuff, it would end up costing us a good portion of what it would cost just to get a brand new one and to not have to deal with the electrical issues, because that's a whole nother beast. Anyways, I said we decided to go another route. This is after I already made the order. I said, when you get back in town, I'd like you to give my money back. You can put it in my mailbox. If that doesn't happen by Friday, which is actually today, I'm going to consider this a scam and escalate this in every way possible so it doesn't happen again to anyone else with Sears or in this community. I was trying to put the fear into them. I'd like to think it's not, but every part of this up to this point says otherwise. Do the right thing. That was my final message to him. Do the right thing. Nothing. I got scammed. Everybody in the video when I showed, and I said it like literally after the guy left, I was like, just did this super sketchy thing. I think everybody knew that I was getting scammed on it, but in my heart I was hoping that this was going to work out. I thought with this local dude we'd have no problems, it was going to be good. But yeah, local people, I guess, you know, like he even came into my house. He saw that I have a little kid right before the holidays. Like, you're going to steal $200 from me, dude? And now that $200 is going to probably cost you your job. I don't know if the arrangement or what it is through Sears, how they do it, but I'm sure when I notify them of this and I explain everything, in fact, I'll even use some of the jargon that he used, because I asked him when he was here, I said, what about the $80 that I have to pay through Sears? Because Sears has this thing where if you don't do the repair that they diagnose you with, then you have to pay $80 just for them to come out. I said, what about the $80? And he said, I'll just say that you weren't home because this is a collect call versus a warranty. So I have all of the jargon. I have him on video. I have all kinds of stuff against this guy. And the dude's probably going to lose his job over $200. Either that or Sears is going to give him like a strong warning, which is entirely possible too because it's so hard to get employees these days. But yeah, this guy, something's going to come of this. At least I hope so. What's not going to come of it most likely is me getting my money back. I highly doubt that's going to happen, as evidenced by him not replying to anything. I have like this theory, and this is just kind of out there. I think the dude might be a gambler. And I'm debating whether to even put this out there because I'm just like thinking of like what could possibly come from this. Maybe he's a gambler, right? He got my money from me that day. Like he saw an opportunity here. So he takes my money. $200, gets it cashed right away, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take this $200. I'm gonna turn it into more money or whatever. But he lost it. He lost the money, and now he's trying to buy time so he can actually do this. So the first story was that his grandma passed away. He didn't want to call me that day because he probably didn't like. He's like, what am I gonna do? So I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm curious if you guys have any speculations as to what you think is going on here. Let me know because it just seems crazy to do all this for $200. It seems dumb. But the guy, I mean, obviously, like, I guess I know what I'm working with here. But yeah, I'm going to contact Sears if I don't hear from him. In fact, I think I'm just going to contact it anyway. Cody's friend said that I should have contacted Sears. Like, I should have kicked the guy out instantly and contacted them and been like, hey, this is what's going on here. But for me, I guess I just wanted my thing fixed, and I saw a deal there. And it's on me. Like, this is my fault. It's my fault I got scammed. All of the red flags, it was all everywhere. But I still did it. I still was like, yeah, let's totally do this. And I trust you. I shouldn't have given the money up front. I shouldn't have done anything until he came in. I asked him for a card that day. He didn't have a card. Like, everything about this was so dumb. So I learned a lesson. But nonetheless, this will be the last time you see the Samsung. I'll show you the problem we're having up here. That's always on, or one of these is always on. And then down inside here, that's not working. But it'll be nice to get rid of this. Cody doesn't like the dual oven. She likes just having it as one thing. It's kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest. And this thing is like, I consider Samsung appliances to be like Lamborghinis. They're like all show and maybe some go, but like just ultimately problems and issues. So I'm excited to see this thing go, and I'm hoping we don't have any problems with the delivery of the new one. Frigidaire. We'll give it a shot.